everyone, we are here at Double Fine in San Francisco, speaking with the fabulous Tim Schafer.
Fabulous?
Fabulous.
Oh, okay. I wasn't planning on being fabulous. But
So you guys have blown up with this Kickstarter thing. How has that been for you?
it's been a little surprising. You know, if we thought we were asking for too much money, everyone said that's too much. And then we upped it. First, we were just going to ask for like $200,000. So that is a lot of money to ask for
It is.
just fans to give you without any sort of like promise of anything except for a game. And then we upped it because we thought, well, we can't make it for that little. And then I thought we'd do it, and the first night maybe we'd get up to 2,000, and maybe by the end of 30 days we'd meet our goal of 400,000. And we met our goal within 8 hours of launching, which was so exciting. I mean, we were just sitting there as soon as we posted, and it was like $30 as soon as we and we're like, that's interesting. And then we just couldn't get away from like the F5 button the rest of the night.
Yeah. Now that you've gotten it's over 1.8 million at this point, do you feel like the pressure is really on to make something absolutely incredible? Not that you weren't already planning on doing that, but now that you've gone like 4 times your original amount. Like,
I got to take down the old plans for the Crummy game.
Exactly.
Crummy
Start
game.
over.
Let's have some bad music and let's get some bad puzzles in there. Yeah, I mean, yes and no. Like, I mean, we never planned to, we always want to make everything great, and so we were not. But now I feel like it's not going to be like for a smaller budget. I guess it would be, a small game that maybe was not up to the same standard as the classic games that are surrounding us on the walls. Can you call your game you worked on classic? Does that sound really snobby?
No, you can't.
Well, I had a partner on, that's Ron's game, so I can call it a classic. Okay, good, but not that one. But anyway. Now the budgets are comparable or higher than some of these games, even when you adjust them for inflation. So it's like, it now isn't like, when we did Hostmaster and the Conquest of Humor, which is a web browser graphic adventure on our website, just to announce that I was going to host this award show. That was just kind of a reference or a nostalgic like spoof of those old games, and that was funny. But this can't be that anymore. Now it has to actually be one of them. It has to be, if you like those games before, you'll like this one. But that's more fun because that means there's no holding back. We're just going to go for it and make it an amazing game.
What can you tell us about the game so far? Anything?
It's going to be a point-and-click graphic adventure, and that's all we know. I mean, I've been putting off really brainstorming and designing it because we're making this documentary with Two Player Productions to document, I think, not just the production of a game, but the creative process. Because I think that's what a lot of people are interested in is how do you take something out of thin air and like bring it all the way to the end? Because I think that is a weird thing about like the blank page. That's just an interesting problem to have. There's nothing, and then you got to come up with something, and that's a scary thing for a lot of people. Whether you're writing a book or writing a song or writing a game, there's just like this process of pulling ideas out of thin air that I've thought a lot about what that process means, and I think it's a great opportunity to actually document that.
Would you say that this is the future of video game development, putting all the power into the hands of the fans and the creatives to make something from scratch and to bypass the whole system that used to exist?
It's not the future, Frank. It's here now. It's here now. It's changed everything. I mean, that's a good question. I think a large publisher like EA might not, they raised what? $1 million or whatever. I spent that on lunch.
Have you had any kind of backlash from the gaming establishment about this?
From the gaming establishment or the gaming players?
Anything from the big publishers or you mentioned EA, for example. People who are kind of being bypassed in this process. Are they worried?
No, I haven't had any sort of negative reaction from publishers and stuff. We work with publishers, and my statement about the Kickstarter project and going around publishers is not to say that they're crazy or evil. I don't need to say that because that I'm not saying that. It's just that for this particular project, this was the right way to go. I think they probably think it's fine because they didn't have any interest themselves in making that kind of project, most of them, and so I think it's a win-win for everybody. Until we take over.
Now, you and Notch's name have come up a lot recently.
We're not the same person.
I know you're not.
We're not the same person. We've been in several places at the same time.
Is there any kind of news that you can give us, or any future projects that you might be working on with the Minecraft folks?
I would like to announce right now that I don't have any news for you. Sorry.
That's okay.
That was a big surprise too, and we were just about to launch the Kickstarter thing. So here we go, and then the news was like, Notch wants to fund Psychonauts 2. I was like, oh. This is confusing because that turned out to be a big Twitter explosion on its own, and I had to kind of we didn't want to put off the launch, so we just launched it too. And it's two strange stories about non-traditional game funding coming up at once. It was kind of exciting to have them both going on. He's a cool guy, and he has means and resources, and we were talking to him to find out what we want to do, because it is a great offer, and it just we need to talk through like what it realistically means, but it could happen.
A lot of exciting stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a lightning round of audience questions.
Where does the lightning come in?
I'm not exactly sure. It just sounds.
Is there like an electrical problem? Okay. Sorry.
Medicinal Purpose asks, a Kinect-like interface seems like it would be perfect for a point-and-click game. Also, imagine the interactivity that could be built into the puzzles. My question would be if the potential increase in development costs to include this type of functionality is too cost-prohibitive. If so, is there a perceived tipping point in developmental costs on the horizon? Wait, does that make sense?
It doesn't have to make sense. It's a lightning round.
It's
not about...
Just say what you feel.
Yeah. You're going to add the effects later, right?
Later.
Oh, man, that was loud.
I think the question is, would
he
you
saying
add
that
a
Kinect games
Kinect?
are more expensive? Because they're not more expensive, really, than other games.
I think that's what he's asking. Would it be too cost prohibitive to add a Kinect-like interface in a point-and-click game?
We've actually done prototypes of using Kinect to do something like adventure games and stuff like that. That's just some R&D tests. I mean, I think actually I wouldn't go point-and-click on Kinect just because, with Happy Action Theater, we were trying to do something really different with Kinect, and I think that's an important thing, is that you really start from the beginning and think about what a game could be or not a game, just like what's an experience you can do with that technology. And that's where the best games come from, instead of adapting another genre to Kinect. And so when you play Happy Action Theater, it's designed to not rely on any old game mechanics or anything like that. So, but there's this one point on the stage where you can select with a spotlight, you can select which stagehand you want to do the activity for, and it kind of shows that is like almost the hardest part of it, is actually using your hand like a cursor. And so I'm just saying, on Kinect, using your hand like a cursor is not the best use of Kinect. I think the best use of Kinect is when your full body is engaged. And I think you would start at the beginning and say, okay, well, let's make an adventure game, but instead of point and click, it's like dance and jump or whatever. Like, we want to do a dance and jump adventure game. Like, that's a whole new genre. So
there's your next big idea.
Yeah, I just announced it. Dance and Jump Adventure coming soon on Kickstarter.
Right,
a lot of exclusives in this interview.
I know. We're very lucky.
Now, lightning.
Our next question comes from Saint Martin, I think. Are you going to make this adventure game a complete nostalgia trip, or do you want to see if you can take the genre a step further? In other words, should we expect a classic LucasArts-style adventure, or something a bit more experimental?
Interesting. That's an interesting question, because on the one hand, we're always trying to do something new and original, and when we made those classic adventures, we were always trying to change them, like take the verbs out or change the way you interacted with them. But also, this was funded by people who wanted something like those old graphic adventures. So I don't want to pursue something so new that it's no longer the thing they were asking for, but also it's not a dead genre. I don't want to treat it like it's a museum or a nostalgia piece, where we're just like, hey, let's pretend that it's 1990 and we're making I want to do something that is fresh and new and actually reaches new people, but it is still has all the charm that those old games had.
It seems like the casual gaming market has just exploded in the States in the past couple of years. So maybe now is an even better time for that genre to come up. It's more accessible. More people are playing video games that used to not consider themselves gamers. So maybe
I think you're saying we were just way ahead of our time. Is what you're saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, I guess that that's probably what it is.
A Clue No wants to know, Tim, how does it feel to be so awesome? Also, any chance of kickstarting a Brutal Legend sequel?
No. I mean, I don't think so, because that was an expensive game. I don't know, but maybe. I mean, hopefully someone will cut this on YouTube with me accepting my $30 million Kickstarter funding someday and make me look foolish but rich. I think that would be hard to do. I'm open. I mean, obviously, I've been surprised by what we could do with Kickstarter, so I'm not the best expert on the potential for it. And the first part of that question was,
how does it feel to be so awesome?
Oh, it's hard. It's really hard to be so awesome all the time, because people are always saying how awesome you are. Lightning round over.
All right, cool. Thanks so much for taking the time to answer our questions today, and we're really excited to see what comes up with the Kickstarter project.
Thanks for having me. It was my great pleasure. Me too. True shake. Dun 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 dun. It's official.
Ding!